Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
It's another afternoon of real live money talk with me, Don McDonald, and that guy over there, Tom Cock. And you are always invited to call us with your questions about money and particularly investing. If you're looking for a straight answer, this is the place to get it at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. And once again this week, because we want to encourage you to call. We also want to encourage you to be a better investor and manage money better. So we want you to know the truth about financial physics and how money and investing really work. And therefore, if you call and participate in the show participate in the show today while it's live in Seattle at 855-935-TALK, you'll get a free copy of Financial Physics. Right?
Absolutely.
Now, this week, something happened that happens to pretty much everybody.
100%
someday.
guarantee.
100% guarantee.
Well, that we
are
know
going
of, yeah.
to.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty much going to pass from this plane of existence. We're going to cease to exist here. We don't know what happens next, but we do know that part happens. And a good friend of ours, a guy we've talked to many, many times, who we admire unlike any other. The guy, I really believe that this gentleman was instrumental in me doing the things that I did for so many years on the radio, trying to convince people to use no-load funds and then index funds and Vanguard in particular. I mean, my gosh, I don't know how many billions of dollars you and I have sent Vanguard's way without any compensation because we just admire what they do. And that guy was gentleman by the name of John C. Bogle, who started the Vanguard funds back in the mid-'70s. He started the first popular with the public index fund back in the mid-'70s, was called Un-American by many on Wall Street who believed the only way to invest was to invest based on their brilliance, which was dead wrong. And I want to just tell Jack and his family how much, and the people at Vanguard, how much we appreciate what he did and what he did for American investors. I honestly believe he was as instrumental in changing the way we live as any of the big inventors of our past. Thomas Edison, Henry Ford. You know, this guy was brilliant. He changed the industry. He changed our investing.
John Clifton Bogle was a leader for the average, like you and I, investor. He was a voice for all of us. But I'll take it one more step. I think he has started a change in this industry that people will look back maybe as soon as 50 or 100 years from now and say that was huge. And here's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the introduction of index funds and the low fees. By the way, Vanguard's average fee now is 0.10. I mean, this is
0.11.
0.11. Pardon me. I don't want to steal
you were off
basis point
hey,
from
that's
them.
a 10% difference.
Exactly. It adds up.
0.11.
Very inexpensive. But here's where I think the huge change will be noted, and that is when he set up Vanguard in the mid-'70s, he established Vanguard as kind of a co-op. That is, the people that invest in Vanguard funds actually own the funds. So
they own the company.
They own the company. They are incentivized, as he said, to reduce fees, to operate as efficiently as possible. They didn't have to pay people. John Bogle could have made a whole lot more money in his career had he done something else. The Vanguard effect of reducing fees, I think, will be small compared to the Vanguard effect in the long term of turning an industry that was completely self-interested, that was completely about the people that owned it and making money for themselves, as the famous book said, where are the customers' yachts, into one where it is going to be more and more client-centric, more and more about the investor. And it's taken a long time. I mean, even if you go back to the beginning of Vanguard, but here we are. Almost half of the money invested in stock mutual funds today is invested in Vanguard or like index-style mutual funds. A huge change, a legend, and a person that will be, I believe, remembered for a very long time.
I just want to add something to that. Jack Bogle never in his life even approached being a billionaire. Didn't even come close. He was worth millions, but nowhere near billions. To compare that, the CEO of Fidelity Funds is a woman by the name of Abigail Johnson.
Been in the family for a long time, yeah.
The fund group was founded by her grandfather, Edward Johnson. Her net worth is $15.1 billion. Now, where do you think that money came from?
Yep.
It would be the investors.
Yep, you.
Where did Jack Bogle's less money come from? He did you right to not do himself right. So one thing I like about Jack, he may not have always been right, but he always tried to do right. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. We'll be back, and we really do try to do right on this show.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Download the advisor interview form and find out if your advisor's a fiduciary at TalkingRealMoney.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And next week, we're going to be hosting the Real Investing March. We're going to be marching on all the major brokerage firms' offices to protest their high fees.
I'm working on the signs right now. You're going to love them. I got some placards you'll never forget. Trust me.
Program note.
Yes.
We're not going to be on as long today as we usually are because Husky basketball is going to preempt part of the show. It's going to preempt pretty much all of the show next week and the week after. A lot of basketball now. We were used to football preemptions, but what's this business about basketball games in the afternoon?
I don't know. It's
UW,
easier than
please.
night. Yeah.
Everybody wants them at night. Everybody. Trust me. They all want them at night. I asked them all. They all said so.
Well, you know,
it's a very scientific poll.
The good news is after the 2-week hiatus, we're on the rest of the year till like next September.
So you're going to get sick of us.
So call.
But give us a call
topics
right now, and you get a free copy of Financial Physics if you call with a question. Brian's ready to take your call out there. Is he any good on the phone?
I doubt it, so I'm a little worried about him. So do not take his investing advice, but just give him your name, and we'll put you on the air.
No, just give him your name. And let us do the investing advice. Let us handle that. 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, right after John Bogle's passing, and it was great. The article is 5 pieces of advice from John Bogle. 5. That's all you need. And you know what's funny is they overlap with what we preach. Stay the course.
In other words, don't be selling when stocks have gone down or get excited when they've gone up. By the way, for those of you who did sell around the Christmas time, the markets are up about 13% since December 24th.
Whoa, that much?
That much. So,
wow.
His
quote, wise investors won't try to outsmart the market. They'll buy index funds for the long term, and they'll diversify.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is beware of experts.
And this is a topic that we touch on regularly because it comes up
That's why
a
we're
lot.
marching on the brokerage firms.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be careful here because I think people see us as
don't
experts.
Be careful.
You know, that we somehow, because we do a show talking about money, that we know the future somehow, which we do not, and no one does. And this business is completely hypothetical because the next 30 years could look completely different than the last 30. We really don't know. So, no, do not trust the experts. Don't follow a newsletter. Don't read the columns. And certainly do not watch financial television. That is one of the absolute worst places to get any decent advice whatsoever.
Wait, I see a bull market in your future.
I think there's bull in there somewhere, but it's not the market.
I'm sorry. Yes, that was bull that I see in your future.
Exactly, bull.
Lots and lots of bull.
All right, what's number 3?
Number 3. Oh, wait, I want to give you the John Bogle expert quote. I have the expert quote.
Oh, yes.
How? This is a great quote. You're going to really like this one. How could so many highly skilled, highly paid securities analysts and researchers have failed to question the toxic-filled, leveraged balance sheets of Citigroup and other leading banks and investment banks, referring to 2008?
Exactly.
How could so many experts have been so wrong? Because they don't know what they can't know, which is the future. Number 3 with a bullet. Keep costs down, Tom.
Yeah, and he's been very good at the company founded certainly is not the leader anymore in low cost, but they what I've just mentioned, the Vanguard effect on the business.
I would say overall,
yeah, that's true.
Average.
That's true.
I don't think any group can say we have average fees on all of our funds of 0.11%.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because right now though you can buy the Fidelity Zero fund, and you can actually have, and we don't still know what's
convinced.
in it. Yeah, what's
still
in it.
Still not convinced.
But you could go there, and by the way, Schwab has now an S&P 500 fund that I think is 4 basis points, very inexpensive, but low fees. Everything we know about this business says the more that you keep yourself, the more you end up with. Hiring somebody who says they're smart, can see the future, paying them more, has resulted in you having less.
And about this, Mr. Bogle said, quote, in investing, you get what you don't pay for.
There you go.
Costs matter. So intelligent investors will use low-cost funds to build a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds, and they will stay the course, and they won't be foolish enough to think they can consistently outsmart the market.
And remember about John Bogle, he was on the other side of the aisle for a few years. He really only came to indexing because he got fired by his previous
Wellington
by
funds.
Wellington. They didn't like what he was doing, and so he got fired. And even in the article today in the Journal, he said they had quoted him as saying it broke his heart. He didn't, and then he thought, I'm really going to look at this, and he found out that no one was beating the market.
What did he do? What was it that really encouraged the Vanguard index concept? It was his reading of a Paul Samuelson paper on the fact that the markets cannot be beaten.
Right. The mathematics.
And it turns out,
right.
You can't beat the market in aggregate. You cannot beat the market.
Yeah.
You're the market. And we're going to come back to the other two in just a couple of minutes, but we're going to go to the phones, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. And Jerry, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello. How are you?
So far, so good, subject to change.
Indeed.
I was going to,
as is everything.
I was going to ask if you guys look at each other right now, and which one of you guys is smarter? Which one of you guys?
Oh, I'm going to go with Kelly.
Kelly.
That was easy. So.
Kelly's running the board, so yeah, that was, and actually that was a great cop out. That was a great cop out.
If I had to be
educationally,
I would say
absolutely, Tom.
I would say Don is intuitively smarter than I am. I might be more educated, but.
He's better educated than I am. I'm an idiot savant.
There you go. So
is it because he's older?
No, Don's older.
Yeah, he is older. I'm older. No,
Don's
I'm older.
Yeah.
I'm older. Yeah, so I'm wiser by like a year.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, gentlemen. Here, I'll just got a list of questions here.
Oh,
it won't take too long, and see what you think. I've got a advisor here in Seattle. I won't tell you who it is or anything.
Okay.
He just sold. He's got me in about 32 different funds.
What?
And he had 32 funds. And
how many accounts, if I can ask?
Wait. That's not important. I want to get on with the question.
Right, go ahead.
Hold on. Go ahead.
And he had 29 trades from mid last December to this month. And the 29 trades cost $625.
Okay, well, I guess for trades that's not bad, but that's with Schwab. Okay, but can you say timing, churning? I don't know. Something's going on there. What kind of securities are they? Mutual funds or stocks or what?
Yeah, some ETFs and mostly mutual funds.
And why is he buying and selling all the time?
I don't know, but I tell you, when I
Okay, wait a minute now. We're gonna
Are you
ask
making
you to
any money?
We're gonna ask you to hang on a second here, Jerry, because we need to know more. I mean, you need to know
We have
why
to know
he's doing
more.
that. Yeah, but that's
Yeah, I mean, everybody listening is going, well, wait, whoa, why? And are you making any money? That's my next question. So hold on to that one, Jerry. How much money did you make after all these trades?
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Would you like to talk to a real investment advisor for free? Set up an appointment at talkingrealmoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hey, we just got an email from a guy. It says the subject is dang basketball. Get sick of you guys giving us great investment advice? Heck no. I can listen to your show 24/7.
Oh, that's nice.
Right. Well, Ray, if you want to listen 24/7,
bad news
just
for you,
go
sir.
online to Real Money Talk Radio. Real Money Talk Radio. It is literally our show 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nonstop. If you're not sick of us after that, you have a very strong stomach, sir.
Yeah.
855-935-TALK is our number, 855-935-8255. We're talking to Jerry. Jerry has an advisor, and I'm assuming since he does trades with Schwab, it's a fee-only advisor. Has him in 32 different securities, ETFs and mutual funds, and put in 29 trades last year, which has to mean he's a market timer.
What is the strategy, Jerry?
Yeah, it's like, well, I'll just let you know here, some of them, what's he's in. FPA New Income, Gutterhem, Metropolitan, PIMCO, Bridgeway.
PIMCO what?
River Park. These are all mutual funds.
I know. Which
International.
PIMCO fund?
Flexible Credit Income and Mortgage Opportunities.
These are just terrible.
Well, okay, now
one, they're really incredibly
Bridgewater's
high, but Bridgewater's got expenses of like 2%. So does PIMCO. Wow. And I just have to ask this very important question. In the calendar year 2019, how much money did you make or lose on your portfolio?
You said 19, you meant to say 18.
18. I'm get confused with dates.
I'd say so far this month, probably lost 2%.
Okay,
so far this month, you lost 3%?
No, you couldn't have lost money this month.
He could have. Yes, he could have. Yes, he could have. If these fund fees are high and he's swapping things around.
Yeah, I guess. It's hard to imagine if you own any stocks in 2019 with the global market up 8%, the S&P 500 up over 6%. Hard to imagine you could have lost money. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, 32 funds. I don't know why you would own 32 funds. That's crazy.
I know just exactly what to tell you, Jerry. But first I want to ask one more question. This advisor, how much do they charge you as a fee to manage this account?
1%.
Okay.
And how much is in it?
A little over $1 million.
That's I guess that's in line.
Okay.
But so the fee's in line. The fee is reasonable, but I can tell you right now those fund fees, Bridgeway funds are really, really expensive. PIMCO funds are really, really expensive.
Well, they're actively managed too. PIMCO would be. That's why I was wondering which fund.
And there is no reason for anyone, I don't care what their philosophy might be, to make 29 trades in a year.
And
whatsoever.
Before we let you go, they traded you out of 29 positions and moved you into a different 29 positions?
Yeah, a few funds in different funds, but in the same family.
Okay. That's okay. They're still trading and they're timing. He's trying to beat the market, and he apparently, it appears, without looking at your statement, it appears that he or she is not doing so, that they are trying to justify their existence, and that they have some wacky strategy that can in no way be excused by any scientific method I have ever heard of in my life. So my advice, Jerry, would be find a new advisor. That's my advice.
Would that be, gentlemen, just another couple of questions quickly?
Yeah, hurry.
Let the other people come on.
Yep.
Would that be, we're looking at this, my wife and I, we're looking at this. Vanguard and Bittermint, they charge over.
Hang on. We'll get to that.
No, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. I think you would be better off with Vanguard and Betterment even though you get no personalized advice. You need a new advisor, and you need it now.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Just about everything you need to know about money can be found at our website, TalkingRealMoney.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
855-935-8255. The number. Give us a call. We'll give you a book called Financial Physics. I wrote it. It's the new and improved edition. You get it absolutely free, and you get some really free advice, and we're only here for about another hour. I'm Don. That's Tom, and this is the show Talking Real Money. Tom?
Well, that was an unusual portfolio because some of it is actively managed, some of it is more passive, right? With Bridgeway is a passive fund family.
I gotta tell you, Bridgeway, even Bridgeway is like sneaking over into active. Here's the thing: I looked up that PIMCO Flexible Credit Fund during the break. Finally found it.
I'm going to stop one quick before you do that. I will go on record. I don't want to own any fund where it's called flexible or unconstrained. Why am I going to give my money to you? Hey, today I'm feeling like this. No, John Bogle would hate that because he loved the fact that you bought a fund, you knew what was in it, you know what it's in it today, tomorrow, and the next day. Don't own a fund called flexible or unconstrained. Either one. Go ahead.
Well, this PIMCO, it's a relatively new fund, which is one of the reasons why I couldn't find the bloody thing.
Oh, okay.
It's relatively new, and it's also one of these new nasty beasts, and these should be avoided at all costs by all of you. It's a new creation by Walt. Well, it's not new. It's been around for a while, but it's gaining popularity these days because it's a way to tie your money up in the fund in really scary securities sometimes, really scary, and they don't want you to be able to get out. It's called an interval fund. And they only let you out at certain intervals. So and they're also very difficult to track. There's a lot of opacity. They're not totally transparent. They tend to be ridiculously expensive. And I want everyone to please think back. You remember that quote from Jack Bogle about how back in 2008, how the highly paid people failed to recognize toxic filled products? These are going to be, I mark my words. These, when the economy turns south, these things are going to unravel because they are gimmicks. These portfolios are filled with consumer notes that are of dubious quality.
Can you say subprime?
They're claiming they're asset backed, but I know the games that Wall Street has played for decades. I do have a little wisdom on this score. And this sounds to me like more games being played. There are all kinds of these new and we have people that we respect, but we disagree with on these products. They believe that these add some non-correlation to the portfolio. All I see them adding is opacity, high fees, confusion. My basic philosophy about an investment, if you don't understand it, don't get in it. And that's what these are all about.
And how are they paying out a dividend of 7.56%?
Right.
In an interest rate environment of a lot less than that. I mean,
okay,
for
right.
good credit.
Because it's I'm looking at the portfolio. It's like Discover credit card bonds. Hertz Rent-A-Car bond, they're backed by receivables. No, these are dangerous. The economy goes into a tailspin. Who's the first person to default? A guy with a credit card.
Not going to pay you
folks,
back. Yeah,
folks,
but this is a way
folks.
people can tell you if you're in a boring old index fund and you're getting a dividend of 2, we can fix that for you. We've got this alternative product that is paying out 7.5%. Would you want the 2% or the 7.5%? You're going to want the 7.5%.
Even that 7.5% is, its dividends were 7.5% last year, but its total return was 3%.
Yeah.
What happened to all the dividends? You mean the portfolio value plunged?
I'm guessing that there was some problems with some of those people you just mentioned.
And folks, I know you think you're special. I really do, and I think you're special too. but not special enough to have special investments that are specially made for you. I spoke to a family member last week.
Well, good luck with
about
that.
some family member investments.
That always goes well.
And he said, well, can't you just go out and put it in a fund that gets 3% tax-free? Safe?
Safe?
I went, no, it doesn't exist.
And if it did?
I said, the Treasuries, safe Treasuries, yielding 2.6%.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're going to get tax-free with a high degree of safety at 3%?
What is Vanguard's intermediate term
It's
muni
about
bond fund?
1. It's about 1.
Nah, I think it's paying more than that. I think it's more like
It's
2.5. But
no, it's not that high. The
Okay.
intermediate?
Intermediate.
I don't think so. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look it up during the break.
And you're going to come back and give us the 4 and 5.
Two more. Yeah, two more quotes.
Yeah.
855-935-TALK is our number. 855-935-8255. Okay, I get passionate about this stuff.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I believe in helping everybody become a better investor. That's why we offer lots of free knowledge at TalkingRealMoney.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
All right, I looked up the yields on Vanguard's municipal bond funds.
I want to caution everyone to listen very closely here.
Yeah, because Tom was right.
Yes.
2.33% on the intermediate.
Yeah.
1.9% on the limited term. Mm-hmm. And 1.7% on the short term.
Now, as a caveat, that is not completely safe because there's some interest rate risk there, and there's some default risk. That's not AAA. That's not absolute for sure going to get my money back.
As a matter of fact, no, it's not. It's AAA, AA, and a few triple Bs.
So that is a bond fund that you can buy for how much? Thank you, John Bogle.
How much?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I've got the short one up right now.
Yeah.
The Vanguard short-term tax exempt, which, by the way, 1.7
not
on
bad.
a short-term
tax-free
portfolio.
That's right.
Ain't half bad. Expenses 0.19.
Crazy. Yeah, they're not getting too rich off you on that one.
Okay, real quickly before we go back to the phones, we want to do, because we promised you this. And I didn't do it, and then I changed the page, and I feel like, okay, here we go. John Bogle's.
Yep, you gave us number 1, number 2, and number 3.
5 things. These are the only 5 pieces of advice you ever need to know.
Keep your fees low. I forget the other one. Sorry, John.
Stay the course. Keep your fees low. Beware of experts.
Oh, yes, of course.
You should know this. Next one. One of your favorite books is about this.
Oh.
Control your emotions.
Yeah.
Don't get emotional.
You want to read the best about that? I think Your Money in Your Brain by Jason Zweig. Tell you everything you need to know and how it's working against you every day.
He said, impulse is your enemy. Eliminate emotion from your investment program. Have rational expectations for future returns and avoid changing those expectations in response to the ephemeral noise coming from Wall Street.
Impulse is your enemy. Apparently, he watched me at the dining room table, so he knew that.
Yeah, I can't look. I avert my eyes.
I don't blame you at all. Keep your hands and feet away from my mouth. It'll be okay.
And finally, it's just, ready?
Yeah.
Own the entire stock market.
Okay, now here's where we did have some arguments with John Bogle over the years. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to
We did, because
poorly
as
of
I
the
said,
recently deceased, but
he does right, but he's not always right.
Yeah, right. He did not like the idea that we suggested people put half of their money in international stocks.
His reasoning is, he said, well, the S&P 500 companies, they do international business, but no, they're not actually. In fact, we learned, and it really surprises me. He was just stuck in his ways, I guess, at this point. We learned a big lesson about the S&P 500 not representing the global market between January 1st, 2000 and December 31st, 2009, when the Standard & Poor's 500 lost over that period a total of 10%.
Yeah. If you'd just been in the S&P 500, you had what they called the lost decade.
You lost money after dividends.
Yeah.
So you would have lost money over a 10-year time frame. But had you done what we suggest, 50-50 U.S. international, you would have had a total return over that, actually an annualized return over that period of about 6% per year. Yeah, annualized, an average, which is about 70% over the 10-year period.
So lesson learned there. But okay, so there are the five. Good.
855-935-TALK. Get a book. Make a call. Get a book. Make a book. Get a call. I don't know, one of those.
Make a book.
Kathy, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. And I think I hear my phone. Somebody's trying to call. So
that's probably us on the other line. No,
okay.
kidding.
We're far more important than they are.
Please.
I know. So I actually have two things I wanted to talk about. And number one is, and I think I've heard you say it before, but I never wrote it down, and that's for my daughter, who's like 22, and we want to try to start something for her so that she can start growing her towards, I know it's early, but...
Not early. Go.
No,
okay,
it's late.
What's the other question?
So we need to write that down. And then the other one is, I am in a good position that I'm going to receive a profit-sharing check, and they offer us these different distributions, and I wanted the uncle to get as little or none as possible. And I thought if you invested in your
so you don't like your uncle?
Come on, no. Sammy's there every day. Sometimes highly amusing. Go ahead. Yes.
So I was thinking, I thought when you go 401k or something that it's supposed to be tax free, but when you plug in the numbers, it said that the most I can of the money that I get is 90%, because is it so they want to take out money for Social Security and Medicare before you do? Is that how it always works when we're
Well, let's take number one first.
Let's go back to one, because number two is pretty complicated. Okay. You do number one.
Yes, the 22-year-old daughter, which is absolutely terrific. Does she have earned income? Does she have a job?
Yes, she has a job.
Terrific. I would go to Vanguard.com. I would have her open a Roth IRA. ROTH, Roth IRA, and then I would, however much she made in 2018 is however much you could put in there, up to a maximum of, they changed the amount. $5,500, which is, maybe she doesn't have that much, or maybe you don't want to put that much in there. And then I would own the V as in Victory, T as in Tom, W, S as in Sam, X as in xenophobic, Vanguard Total World Stock Index, VTWSX. It's one fund. It holds 8,800 securities around the globe at an extremely low cost. Thank you, John.
Vanguard Total World Index, VTWSX.
You got it.
Correct.
You got it. Yes.
And where do we where do we open up something?
I'm just going online.
Vanguard.com.
Vanguard.com. Mr. Bogle was a big fan of Admiral Nelson, so he decided to name the fund.
Vanguard.com.
So anyway.
Now let's go talk about your profit sharing distribution.
Okay.
One, how much money are we talking about?
So they said could be, it's not quite here yet, but the estimated is $6,663.
Okay. And what they're talking about taking money out, just withholding for taxes would be my guess.
Well, it gives us a little pre-planning thing, so you can choose how you want it. Like if you want cash, then the uncle gets a whole bunch. If you want, or you can do a Roth choice or 401k or HSA.
Right,
so
but here's the deal with all of those. This is earned income.
Yeah.
You see, this is immediately earned income. So the only way to deduct it from your taxes is to put it in a regular IRA or a regular 401k. If you do those other things, you don't get a deduction. You don't get a deduction in a Roth, but you do get tax-free growth. So you can't have a deduction and tax-free growth. You can have a deduction or tax-free growth, or you can have...
So some of this comes down to your current tax situation. Generally, if you don't want to pay taxes, I'd say put it in the 401k. You get to deduct it. Money grows tax-deferred. Pretty good deal.
Yeah, and that's the way to avoid current taxes. You have to do a little tax guessing. If you think your future tax bracket is going to be a lot higher than your current tax bracket, then you might take the hit today.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
It may not be the sexiest website in the world, but it's your one-stop shop for real money information, talkingrealmoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Coming up in February, it is the biggest, best retirement planning event in the Puget Sound region. It's called Retire Meet, and Tom and I started this event 5 years ago, and I got to tell you, we have learned so much over that period of time. This event is going to be the most educational ever. We have some of the top folks in the country coming to this Retire Meet, and right now you can save on your tickets over the door price. And you better get them soon because they're going to sell out. Retire Meet February 16th in Bellevue. Get your tickets right now. Don't wait at retiremeet.com, retiremeet.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?